Hello, this is D&D Guru again. We're going out to run some more errands, which means it's time to talk about the rules of the road. Today we're going to break down what happens for some characters if you need to port them from the legacy rule sets into the 2024 rule set. For example, today we will be doing kind of a character autopsy on one of the characters in my second campaign of the Tana series, Shadows of Wormhaven. That character is Zayden Cobblestone, and he's a beast. So Zayden Cobblestone ended the adventure as a level 5 fighter, level 5 rogue, and level 2 sorcerer. He took the Battle Master subclass for fighter and the Assassin subclass for rogue. And when I say Zayden was a beast, I mean that Zayden had the ability, if he was getting the drop on somebody, to pretty much instantly, before combat, kill anything I threw at him. So his lethality was legendary in that setting. But if we take a look at the differences in the rules for the Assassin feature, we see that there has been a major change.
Snip.
Part of that change has to do with the Assassin feature itself, but I find the greater part of the change is that the surprise round has failed its final death saving throw and has expired.
All that passion, all that energy, dead and gone.
There is no more surprise round in 2024. If you surprise a creature, then in the Legacy Edition, surprised creatures lost a round. In the surprise round, they did not act, and more importantly, they could not take reactions. What this meant for Zayden was that he could set up on a watchtower 300 feet away from his target, a wizard mayor, sitting at his desk in the mayoral mansion next to a unshuttered window. And Zayden had the sharpshooter feat, so he ignored the three-quarter cover that only seeing the mayor through partial view of him through a window, and also ignoring the disadvantage for shooting at long range. So he technically could make this shot from up to 600 feet away. He fires twice, because he's a fighter with 2 attacks. Each one of those is made with advantage, and the assassinate feat says that if the character is surprised, which obviously he is, he's writing a letter at his desk while a man several blocks away is shooting him with an arrow. So if he's surprised, they're auto crits. So Zayden fires his 2 first arrows, more than likely hits with both. The mage takes 2 arrows. Zayden's average damage for an assassination attempt would sit somewhere in the 40 to 50 hit point range with his sneak attack, which he only got on the first shot, to be sure. Then he can action surge, and he can fire 2 more. Now, a mage of equal level, or even greater, say a mage of 15th level, is unlikely to have very many more hit points than 100. And Zayden is probably closing in on 120 to 140 hit points of damage by the time he ends those 2 attacks. But wait, there's more. That just ends the surprise round. Now, so long as Zayden goes before his target on the follow-up round, he gets to act first again. Now, in this round, admittedly, the target has their reaction. And this is the first round of combat for that target. So the mage could theoretically cast a shield spell at the first arrow coming in, raising their AC by 5. It's probably not going to be enough to make Zayden miss both shots. So by the time this is all over, Zayden's probably done, let's just say, 160 points of damage to this mage. And the mage is quite dead. This all happens before the mage even gets a turn. Now, I want to bring Zayden into my next adventure, but now I'm running the 2024 rules, and I'm updating Zayden into those rules for his NPC status. And I noticed that the new rules for Assassinate are tremendously bad. There's no loss of turn for the surprised individual. So Zayden could get off his 2 shots, but because there's no loss of turn, and more importantly, no loss of reaction, then on that first arrow, our mage, who is surprised, who is hundreds of feet away, can still, by the rules, cast shield as a reaction as the arrow breaks the glass of the window coming through, giving him just a fraction of a second to cast that spell. And now Zayden's odds of landing both of those arrows has gone down. He does have advantage on these attacks still, but now if he hits, he does not do auto crit damage, because the new Assassinate rule has replaced the auto crit with a damage modifier. And if you hit with a sneak attack, and only with your sneak attack, you add a damage modifier equal to your rogue level to the assassination damage.
Snip.
So although he isn't going to crit, he will still get his sneak attack. So let's say he fires, his arrow breaks the glass of the window, and then the wizard, not bound by action and reaction rules as he was in Legacy, casts shield, but his second shot connects, and he gets sneak attack, which is 3d6 extra, but not the 6d6 that he was getting with the auto crit. So now he's doing 1d8 damage plus 3d6 damage plus his ability modifier plus 5 for his rogue level, and with no extra damage given to him by sharpshooter under these rules. He does still action surge and shoot 2 more arrows, and there's no double tap, because as soon as Zayden finishes his turn, the mage does get to go. So on average, our mage takes about 45 points of damage from Zayden on round 1 of an Assassinate. And that seems to me to be snipped so hard
Snip.
as to neuter the assassin, to the point that, can we still call the assassin? Or can that position now be better described as a first striker, a skirmisher? Because they certainly don't still have the damage output required to perform assassinations on anything more than minor NPCs. So what does this mean for our stated goal? We want to bring Zayden to the 2024 rule set.
Somebody commented in the last video asking if I was George Martin. I laughed and said, no. I'd have finished.
Ultimately, what it means is, while Zayden was a player character in the first campaign, and therefore fell under the player character rules, Zayden being ported into the new rule set is no longer a player character. He is an NPC. And we all know that NPCs do not have to follow the same rules as a player character. And thus you can homebrew Zayden to be just as lethal as he was in the old edition. But this does illustrate that small rules changes, such as getting rid of the surprise round, can have major implications for builds, to the point of destroying a build. I cannot see, as of this point in time, how you can legitimately build an assassin with the same, even close to the same lethality that they had in the Legacy Edition. And in the case of that character class, I think it very much takes away from the game. I don't know that this is a change that needed to be made. Every character class has their superpower. Whether it's the wizard with a plus 15 to his history check, or it's
Where is it?
the assassin who can take out the biggest guy on the field before battle starts and render his opponents into a state of confusion without their leader. What do you think? Was this a bridge too far in the rules change department? Did the assassin fall victim to the nurse hammer to the point of unusability? Let's talk about it.
Oh, I knew it. Yeah, I knew you were going to do a yellow. Not gonna let me go. Okay.